Board of Aldermen for Tuesday, February 3rd. The first thing we'll do tonight is adopt our agenda, and we do have some additions to our agenda. On the consent agenda at 3F8, request permission for an employee from the Oxford Utilities Department to attend the Central Service Association Orbit 1 training on February the 11th through the 12th in Cool Springs, Tennessee at an estimated cost of $792. To the regular agenda at 4E, consider request for emergency loan and authorize council to move forward on the loan. Pope will handle that for us. And then at 4F, Kelly Briscoe will request approval of an ARC transport cost for the remainder of FY 25-26 for the Animal Resource Center. Under regular agenda special projects at 6D, we will add consider professional services agreement with ER Assist Inc. for disaster funding related to services for Oxford Utilities, and Mark Levy will handle that item. Those are all the changes I have. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There's going to be no mayor's report tonight, as I feel like I've given about 9,000 of them 3 times a day for the past 10 days. So I don't have anything new to report other than the one that I reported just a moment ago, that the boil water notice has been lifted. Praise the Lord. So anyone that was whose service was temporarily suspended by the city of Oxford has been under a precautionary boil water notice, and that has been lifted. All right, next on our agenda, request permission to approve the minutes of the regular Board of Aldermen meeting on January 20th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request permission to approve the minutes of the special Board of Aldermen meeting on January the 24th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request permission to approve the accounts for all city departments.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Rhonda, a December budget report.
You had included in your packet the budget performance report through the end of December. There's no variances. Everything is tracking as planned. Nothing out of the ordinary. There's no material variances and no budget amendments recommended at this time.
Wonderful, thank you. Until we start with these emergency response calls.
We'll talk about that
So
later.
that remains true for the next 30 seconds.
Yes.
All right. Request approval of emergency purchases made as a result of Winter Storm Fern that occurred over January 23rd through the 26th.
Yes, so we need approval. Obviously we've had to make some emergency purchases for supplies and things of that nature. So we just need a board approval to make that action.
Move we approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request approval of a proclamation issued by the state of Mississippi Office of the Governor that extends the property tax payment deadline for 2025 taxes to March 3rd. The previous due date was February the 1st, and the governor has extended that for all counties who were affected by Winter Storm Fern to March 3rd before any penalties would be applied. We have a motion to approve that proclamation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Request approval of Service Provider Agreement Exhibit A with Deluxe Certified Payments to establish e-check merchant services and payment processing. Rhonda?
Sure, that's another option for taxpayers when they go online to make a payment. Instead of using their credit card, they would now have the option to do an e-check. It's $2 per check, obviously, but much more economical for our customers. So we would like to offer that option.
Motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
All right, so then you have a consent agenda before you with fixed asset management, travel requests, grants, and human resources requests.
Motion to approve the consent agenda with the addition.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Request permission to accept the PI workers' comp insurance for February 25th, 2026 through February 25th, 2026 for Oxford University Transit. Donna?
Yes, ma'am. Our workers' comp insurance, we had 2 quotes that came in, one from Pi for $57,066 and one from Associated Insurance for $65,632. So we're requesting to go with Pi Insurance for our workers' comp.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Request permission to accept bids by reverse auction for equipment for the Environmental Services Department for a knuckle boom, front-end loader, refuse truck, automatic side loader, refuse truck. Okay? A front end and a side loader.
And a knuckle boom.
And a knuckle boom.
Move we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Great. Request permission to reject a bid by reverse auction for equipment for the Environmental Services front-end loader, refuse truck.
We felt that the first option that you just approved was better as far as what our needs were. It was $310 more, but it will fit with our current commercial garbage collection needs, and the delivery date is less.
Maybe we approve.
These are all budgeted. Well,
So we move to reject that bid.
reject this bid.
Yes.
All right, do I have a second? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Brad Freeman, come give us an update on the winter storm and its effects on M-Trade.
So we had boots on the ground at the park Tuesday, just fixing stuff. We lost, sadly, 83 trees that we planted 23 years ago, or 20 years ago, sorry. So we're just, right now we're currently in cleanup mode. None of our buildings currently have power. That's just a matter of time before that comes back on. And then if you drive out there right now, we're basically the command center for all the tree removal trucks. Northeast Power is going to be parking all their trucks out there as well. Our biggest issue is in and along the walking trail by the soccer fields. We have well over, 200 widowmakers out there that our guys can't get to. We're kind of working through that on when someone can get to them. So after talking with some tree professionals, and in my opinion, we need to keep the park enclosed indefinitely until we have all of our trees kind of in a safe spot. So I just wanted to keep y'all updated on where we're at with the park, but right now it's just unsafe to be out there with the kind of with our tree situation.
Yeah.
That we can't get to. So
Absolutely.
just wanted to just to keep y'all updated, and I'll update y'all once we get kind of some tree work going out there, which we're just in line. So
Yep.
that's what
Thank
I
you,
got.
sir.
When do your tournament start? When does baseball start?
We're going to cancel our first 2 that we have this weekend and next weekend, and our first one will probably be like the 26th. So that's just
Hopefully.
hopefully,
Yeah.
We're aiming for that, but as soon as we can open the park, we will, once it's deemed safe. Yeah. So just wanted to give y'all that update when and if y'all get questions asked. So,
Thank you, Brad.
okay. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. All right, second reading and public hearing of a proposed nitrous oxide ordinance. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. We did not make any adjustments after our first reading, so our ordinance is still as it was.
I have not received any comments from the public. Has anyone else received any comments or questions? As this is a public hearing, if there's anyone that would like to speak on the proposed nitrous oxide ordinance, you are welcome to come forward. Okay, seeing none.
Move we approve due to the safety issues.
All right, so we have a motion to go ahead and approve that. Is there a
Second.
second? All in favor? Any opposed? Great. Oh, what did I skip?
Additions.
Oh, the addition. Sorry, I was like, goodness gracious. Yes, thank you. Let's back up and do the 2 that we added at 4E and 4F. Consider request for emergency loan and authorize council to move forward on the loan. Pope, sorry.
No problem. Section 2135-19 allows cities to do, basically borrow money as needed in an emergency situation, takes you out of your budgetary limits. And in this case, you all are going to need to front significant monies and pay some of them finally, but front some before FEMA and other monies come in. We talked with Steve Pittman, our consultant, as well as Sue Fairbank at Butler Snow. The suggestion they make is that you all do a request for a proposal under this statute for bank loans. And what you can do is get drawdown loans that are you'll only pay interest on those loans for the amount you draw down, but you get an amount that's in excess, or at least as much as what you think you may need.
A not to exceed amount.
Not to exceed
and then
amount.
we draw down.
It's not a line of credit, but you only draw down as you need it. You only pay interest on it. And my understanding is that only what is drawn down will apply against your bond debt limits. Any amount I think that you all would be interested in putting in that would be well within what your bond limits allow anyway. And I'll let the mayor make suggestions. I would ask that you all just authorize council to move forward with a resolution to be passed at your next either regular or special meeting for that purpose.
Yeah, and I just wanted to go ahead and mention this tonight. We're not asking for a vote, but we spent several hours today as we get deeper into this recovery process and see what things cost. For our debris removal, the estimate before we start cutting trees just for debris removal is over $16 million. So I just wanted to throw those numbers out now. I will tell you that since we have been sitting in this meeting, I have just found, Laurel, good news, that the governor did request a major disaster declaration today. So it has previously been that we had an emergency declaration, but that does not allow you to get funds from FEMA for debris cleanup. But this major disaster declaration does, which gives me a lot more confidence. As I've met with these guys, I've got total confidence in what they're providing to us and that it is a fair price and that they are professionals and going to handle it beautifully. But it has kept me up at night without a major disaster declaration, fearing that I'm signing on to something that we may or may not be able to be reimbursed for. But I'm assured from White House staff that if the governor asked for a major disaster declaration, that it would be granted. And so that gives me a lot more confidence moving into this. Again, we're not asking for a vote tonight. Our bonding capacity is up to about $40 million. And as we've discussed many times, we have a much higher bonding capacity than we could ever pay the payment on every year. So just because you've got that capacity doesn't mean you can afford it. But we are thinking that we probably will be asking you to put a not to exceed limit of about $25 million up, and then we will borrow down from that money. And the only amount, Laurel, tell me if I'm wrong, but the only amount that goes against our bonding capacity is what we pull down. The cap that we set is a not to exceed, does not immediately affect our bonding capacity, but as we draw down, it would affect. So we've got some brilliant people here to give us wise counsel, but I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out to you because it was sticker shock for me. And so before we start voting on it, I just wanted y'all to know that those are the numbers that we're talking about. So there's nothing to vote on, but we did want you to know that that's where we are.
Need to make a motion to let him proceed.
Yes, let's make a motion that let council proceed.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Great. Okay, Kelly, come on up. Kelly wants some money to transport some of these animals.
Yes, ma'am. So we did this last year as well. It just goes ahead and gives us approval to use the funds that we budgeted so we can write a check when the transport comes up instead of having to wait until the board meeting for the actual approval of it. And there's about $12,000 in there for us.
So moved.
Second.
Hopefully we'll have one Friday.
All in favor? Any opposed? Great, thank you. All right, and we covered 5A, out of line. So now we are to 6A. Consider addendum number 1 from Looks Great Services, Inc. for a not to exceed extension. And it's not looks good, guys, it's looks great. So it's a very high bar you've set for yourselves.
We've made that mistake before. Calling it looks
That's
good
right.
a couple times. Our initial contract with Looks Great was approved under the exigent procurement process at the emergency meeting on Sunday, January 25th. At that time, the contract not to exceed amount was set at $500,000. And as of this afternoon, we just got a price. We've expended slightly over $300,000. So we're going to hit that $500,000 well before the next board meeting. So this addendum number 1 increases the not to exceed amount to $5 million. And I want to emphasize a few things. One is this is not a guaranteed contract payment or a fixed obligation. It's a maximum allowable amount. So we have, we are only responsible for the work that's performed, and the agreement makes it easy to terminate at any time for any reason at the city's discretion. While we anticipate the storm recovery debris amount will exceed the $5 million, we hope to get to the next board meeting with that amount. That's our plan. So, but we retain full flexibility to discontinue the services at any time, which we don't expect. We've had a great experience thus far. We do have that ability if we need it. In addition, the board, we approved the original contract under the emergency, an emergency situation. We did review another proposal at that time. And we feel like the current contract is very competitive, and it's lower in most of the unit categories that I looked at. So between the two proposals. So we do feel like it's a fair price. In addition to that, we also, at the last board meeting, the board meeting a few days ago, we did request, y'all granted permission to advertise requests for proposals, which will actually go off tomorrow. So we have our first advertisement tomorrow in the Oxford Eagle, and then we will start that, and we will plan on opening bids, which is the full procurement process, opening bids on Friday, March 6th at 10 a.m. So in light of all that, we're asking for permission to move forward with this addendum.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Consider addendum number 2 from Looks Great Services for an updated mileage pricing for loading and hauling.
This one's a little easier. This modifies the unit pricing for hauling. Any debris transported within 20 miles is billed at the same rate as that is transported at 10 miles. The initial contract had a 10-mile limit because we wanted to find a debris site within city limits. We looked all over, and based on the MDEQ requirements, we couldn't find a site within 10 miles. So they have agreed to use the same rate to go to Abbeville at our current site, which is already permitted. So that extends our radius of where they're picking up. So it's the same unit price to go 20 miles as it is 10. So this is really good for us.
Yes.
Recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? First Amendment to Independent Contractor Agreement with Debris Tech to raise the not to exceed cap.
So all the same things we said
This
about.
is going to be a thing for the next 3 months. So just brace yourselves.
So all the same things said about Looks Great Service. We entered a not to exceed contract with Debris Tech.
Will you tell the difference between what Looks Great
Yes.
does and what Debris Tech does and what Laurel does? If you,
I'll do my best.
Sorry, we're spending so many hours talking about it and thinking through it that I forget that everybody isn't hearing all those details. So will you kind of set the stage? I'm sorry, we should have.
So Looks Great. Looks Great picks up sticks on the ground and puts them in the loaders, and then takes a loader.
They're big trucks you see all over town right now.
They're all over town. They're the contractors. Debris Tech is a monitoring company, and we're required to have a third party monitor how much is coming in so that we can get reimbursed for FEMA. And it can't be the same contractor that's hauling the limbs. We have to have a third party. So they are independent. Their fees are about a quarter of the contract of the hauler. And that's what we're getting to.
Both of which we will ask to be reimbursed for by FEMA.
Right. Laurel is here with ER Assist. They are a FEMA funding consultant, and they are under a different package, professional service. They're 100% reimbursable by FEMA. Category Z is what she is under. We are under contract with Laurel for not to exceed. Her contract is not coming up tonight. It may in the future, but it's not tonight. Not for the city. It is for Oxford Utilities. that's the next item that we added. But those are the three different kind of wings. Together, we consult each other and Shane and our whole group, and we're keeping up with all this debris. But when you're talking about possibly 16 or more $1 million,
Well, 16 million is just debris.
then
I mean,
we got to make
yeah.
sure we're dotting all the I's and crossing the T's. So we have people that do this for a living here to help us with that.
Well, and Laurel is advising us on things like what kinds of donations can count towards the cities. The way it works with FEMA in the end is FEMA's going to pay 75%, MEMA's on the hook for 12.5, and the city of Oxford's on the hook for 12.5. And so things that can count towards our 12.5%, I mean, 12.5 of the 16 million is $1.8 million that we're on the hook for, that we will not be reimbursed for. So Laurel's helping us find in-kind amounts that can go towards what our 12.5% is, from donations to volunteer hours to supplies donated to, and so that y'all know, Marley and her crew have developed a wonderful Google Doc that we are giving to people as they volunteer so that we can track their hours. And FEMA tells you what each of those hours is worth as far as translating that. So there's so many moving parts to all of this, but we have found some wonderful professionals to advise us that I feel very confident in moving forward. So,
Mark, just looks great, yellow trucks. Then Michael's, is that what it is? The
They're
double ones?
I believe they're subcontract for
Yeah,
Looks Great.
okay, that's what I was curious. Not the same name, so that's why I was wondering.
okay.
And-
Sorry.
No, I'm
hijacked.
sorry. I jumped right into it. I should have probably started with that. So the original debris tech, which is the third party monitoring, was $100,000. Just like Looks Great Services, we're about to reach that, or we're probably above it as of this meeting. So we would like to, same thing, do it not to exceed for $1 million. Again, it's about a quarter of what we expect the debris cost to be. Again, same thing we said earlier. It's a not to exceed, cancel any time. It's not a guaranteed payment. If we're not happy, we can remove ourselves from the contract. Again, don't expect that
Need a
at all. but
motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Just
All
one
right.
one comment. Thank you for all your work. Thank you for all the people that are helping us. Amazing to see the debris already being moved. Awesome. I hate we have it, but it's so good to see it.
Well, we were the first people in the
Going.
state to move debris, first permitted site to happen after the, and they were here to help us do that. So they've been great.
And so we move to the other key part of this team, Laurel and ER Assist. So we're asking you to consider professional services agreement with ER Assist Inc. for disaster funding related services to Oxford Utilities. Because, we have two different, Oxford Utilities is an enterprise fund separate from our general fund. And so we will need to categorize things differently. Expenses that come up for City of Oxford Utilities will need to be separate from what we are paying from general fund.
And Laura, you're going to put these grants in the system. So that's the biggest part we hadn't got to yet, because I've worked on those grants. They're complex. So we really need her help.
Right.
For both divisions. We're under contract with her. We're same exact
need
dollar
two separate
amount, $70,000
contracts.
not to exceed for both the city and the utility department.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? In closing, I didn't do it at the beginning of the meeting because it makes me emotional and I don't like to do that. So, but I do not want to close this meeting without saying that looking at the faces of the people in this room who have kept this community going, and how tired you are, and how many hours you've worked, and how many days in a row that you have shown up, not one complaint, not one person trying to beg out. Nobody would even tap out when they needed to. And I cannot tell you how proud your board and I are to be leading this team, because you are amazing human beings. You're amazing at your job, but you also have the most compassionate hearts in your service of any team that anyone could have. There is no community that is dealing with a natural disaster like this that I think has pulled together better and gotten it done, from being the first in the state to start removing debris to one of the first utility systems to have all of the utilities back up, and a boil water notice that's now been lifted. It's amazing the speed, and that's because we've had volunteers from all of our surrounding states that flooded in to help us immediately. But it has been such a group effort, and so many people have stepped up to lead in this disaster, including you aldermen. And I want to thank each of you personally, because this group of aldermen, they hadn't been sitting at their house waiting for updates. They're out with chainsaws, they're serving at the shelter, they are out helping elderly people that can't get supplies, they are responding to the people in their districts. They're organizing fraternity groups to go through and clean out neighborhoods. They're calling in friends with equipment to get people out of neighborhoods that there are trees blocking the road. These people have put in hours. They haven't just sat around voting on decisions, and I'm proud to serve with all of you.
Well, Mayor, we're proud to serve with you. I think without your leadership, we'd be in a much different place, and your ability to organize and to get people moving in the right direction, and the steps that you had taken before all this with department heads and getting everybody together, it has shown up and it has shown out over these last 10 days, and we appreciate your leadership. And it doesn't get said enough. I think you get criticized, and whoever criticizes you, you better not find me. And we appreciate everything that you have done for this city, and we are better off for it.
Thank you very much. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Aye.